Welcome back, my friend, to the God Made Man podcast. Day 28 of 90 days of putting lust to bed. I'm going to read from Psalms 101 today. And before I read from it, I want to just say, I don't know what David was going through when he wrote this psalm, but this is an intense psalm. He is on a tear. Something got to him, something made him mad, and he is just making these declarations of some intense stuff. And this intensity, I want us to read it, learn from it, and apply it to our own life when it comes to this battle against lust and sexual temptations. You'll see what I mean after we read it. Psalms 101, verses 1. I will sing of mercy and justice to you, O Lord. I will sing. I will consider the path that is blameless. When will you come to me? I will walk within my house with a perfect heart. I will set no wicked thing before my eyes. I hate the work of those who turn aside. It shall not have a part of me. A perverted heart shall be far from me. I will not know anything wicked. Whoever privately slanders his neighbor, him I will destroy. Whoever has a haughty look and a proud heart, I will not endure. My eyes shall be favorable to the faithful in the land, that they may live with me. He who walks in a blameless manner, he shall serve me. He who practices deceit, he shall not dwell within my house. He who tells lies shall not remain in my sight. Every morning I will destroy all the wicked in the land, that I may cut off all the wicked doers from the city of the Lord. In this fight against lust, sexual temptations, and pornography, I'm pretty sure that if you haven't already, you'll come to a point where you just feel angry. You feel pissed off because you're struggling with the same thing, and it's been years. It's been a long time. And you are in a hole that you just you never thought you'd be in. And two, you just feel like you'll never get out of it. And you might come to a point where you just get really angry. And you might pray a prayer. God, if you get me out of this, I'm never going to go back to this thing again. And we make these declarations. I'm never going to do that again. I'm going and we might even make steep measures, big moves to not go back. So we might throw all of our stuff we used to look at away, clear everything out, remove some stuff from our life, put up an internet filter. We make big moves in order to not go do that thing again. And there's a certain intensity that we have in the early stages of overcoming this thing. We're on day 28 now. And there's when on day 1, I'm pretty sure on day 28, if we've remained clean thus far, it's not going to be the same intensity that you had on day 1. Because on day 1, you might be coming right off a relapse and you're like, I'm going to make a change in my life. There's certain things I'm just going to not do anymore. I got to do it. But then by day 28, it's probably worn off a little bit. And that's a normal thing. There's nothing wrong with that. That's how it's going to be. But this same intensity that we read about in this psalm is the same intensity that we have to have in our own personal life on a daily basis if it means living the life that God has for us. David says here, I'm going to walk in my house with a perfect heart. That means in my own house, when nobody sees what I'm doing, when it's just me and the four walls of my home, I'm going to walk with a perfect heart. I'm not going to just put on a show on the outside when I walk outside. No. I'm going to walk with integrity. Who I am in the quiet place, in the privacy of my own home, is who I am when everybody else sees me. I'm going to walk with a perfect heart within my house. Verse 3, I will set no wicked thing before my eyes. I hate the work of those who turn aside. It shall have no part of me. I've always wondered when people in the Bible say stuff like, I will put no wicked thing before my eye. I always wonder, what does that mean? What did that look like back in the Old Testament? Because there were no magazines. There's no TV shows. There's no pornography. There's no DVDs or whatever it may be. There's no internet. What are you watching? Do you have naked pictures of girls drawn out on some papyrus somewhere and, underneath your royal bed? I don't know what it looked like back then. I've always wondered to myself, what did it look like? But it also made me think, if he is praying that prayer then, how much more should we be praying that prayer today? When everything that you can think of, you can have access to. You can view more women. A person today can view more naked people today within an hour than our grandparents did in a lifetime. Not in an hour, 10 minutes. If you can view more naked people within 10 minutes that your grandparents viewed in a lifetime. That is the world that we live in today. So how much more should we be praying this prayer? I will set no wicked thing before my eye. And it doesn't even, I'm not even referring to pornography as a whole. I'm talking about anything, right? Anything. My notes here say many people today are consumed with watching images of immorality, wickedness, brutality, violence, pornography, and all kinds of evil, trying to satisfy their lust and desire for pleasure and entertainment through television, movies, books, magazines, and the internet. People can observe every kind of wickedness. However, those committed to doing what God says is right and staying in a right relationship with Him will avoid evil in all of its forms. They take no pleasure in ungodliness, so they spiritually guard their lives and families by not taking part in anything that grieves the Holy Spirit. There is a certain vindictiveness to this. We can't just say, okay, I'm not going to look at it. No. We have to have a certain righteous indignation when it comes to this. And we have to draw some definite boundaries. I'm not going to look at certain things. I'm not going to go down certain roads, literally and figuratively. I'm not going to go to certain places. There are certain things that I'm just not going to do. I'm not going to hang out with certain people. It has to be a drawn line, because if it's not clear to you, then if it's a gray area, you're going to fall back into it again. You're going to cross the line again. When David spoke here, he said it very clearly, I will set no wicked thing before my eye, and I hate the work of those who turn aside. It shall have no part of me. A perverted heart shall be far from me. I will not know anything wicked. He's talking in the first 4 verses, he talks about himself. A wicked heart, don't want anything to do with it. Evil things, wicked things, I'm not even going to look at it. An evil heart, perverted ways, keep it far from me. And then in verse 5 to 8, he's talking about other people now. He says that other people who are walking blameless, I'm going to look favorably on them. I'm going to learn from them. What are they doing? And how can I do it as well? Let's hang out. Let's do life together. But the people who are walking in a way that is evil, in a way that is perverse, in a way I don't want to go, I am not even going to associate with them. Now, once again, I'm not saying be antisocial or don't hang out with people who are different than you. I'm not saying that. But I'm saying in this battle against lust, pornography, sexual temptations, we have to have this certain vindictiveness that David had in this psalm, where we say, enough is enough. I'm not going to entertain this anymore in my life. I'm going to cut it all off. I'm going to really take drastic measures, it may seem, to really protect myself, to protect my spiritual walk, to protect my marriage, to protect my mind, to protect my heart, to protect my dreams, and to protect this life that God is calling me to live. I am going to take some measures. And for you, you got to figure out what that is. What is it that's draining your energy? Is it Netflix? For me, YouTube, for sure. YouTube is for me, I can cut all other things out, but I'm on YouTube a lot, not just to post content, but just watching videos, learning different things. But it takes up my time. And a lot of times it's stuff that I can go without. It's stuff that I don't need in my life. And it also has potential to not only drag my time or drain my time, but to distract my attention into things that I shouldn't be looking at. And it can serve as a great thing, but it's also something that I need to be very vindictive about. Hey, and I've had to do this in my life. I need to do it more, to be honest with you. Certain times of the day, I'm not going to watch. If I'm working, I'm not going to watch. I'm not going to start off the day with YouTube. I'm going to save it toward the end. I'm going to save it to just my subscriptions. Whatever it is for you, you got to figure that out and you got to do it. Let's be vindictive about this. Let's not be wishy-washy. Let's draw some definite lines. From now on, I'm not going to do this. From now on, I'm not going to get on the internet after a certain period of time. From now on, I'm not going to keep Instagram on my phone where I can easily access it all the time. I'm going to limit myself to 1 day of the week, 1 hour per day. And I'm going to be very cognizant. I'm going to be very aware and very present in why I'm on that website, why I'm on this social media. What am I here to do? Let's do it. There's no other option. Let's do it. Let's take this a step up. Crank it up a notch, if you will, and let's get this done. Amen.